my formal introduction. As a lot of you already know, I'm James Hargrove, Communication Director at US Indoor. Chuck, our Membership Director, is also in attendance today from the US Indoor side. And I'm happy and excited to announce from Social Cookie, our speakers and facilitators today. I'll do a quick introduction, and from there, we'll be off to the races. First, we have Susan. I'm sorry, let's start with Julie. We have 𝗤𝘂𝗺𝗃𝗀𝗃. I always get nervous when I make the last name pronunciation. Both Julie and Susan are a little under the weather today, so I'm going to speak for them real quickly and apologize in advance for any roughness in their voice. But Julie is the owner and founder of Social Cookie. She'll be keeping her camera off for good reason today, but she will be here in full force, mentally and audibly. Likewise, we have Susan here, who is our account manager for Social Cookie, also one of our facilitators, and she'll be joined by Cameron, whom you see on camera, who's the senior ad strategist for Social Cookie. So let me hand the floor over to them, starting with Susan. Go ahead.
Yeah. Hi, everybody. As you can see, my voice is a little under the weather, so I am going to keep it a little bit short and sweet here today. Let Cam do a majority of the talking here. We do have a presentation to show you, and also would love to have anybody ask questions, share about their individual businesses and maybe some of their goals that they're trying to achieve by getting on this call today. Really, I just wanted to talk about one study that we really look at is the Harvard Business Review, and that was a study that was done with about over 2,200 US companies, just following them, saying about a quarter of them never even follow up on their leads, and another quarter of them do it after 24 hours. The study really just showed that after even 5 minutes, that percentage really goes down. So what we're really trying to say is speed to lead is everything. I mean, it's really everything. And Social Company do automations. I mean, Julie's showing the Harvard Review here right now. A little bit more information, but automation follow-up is really a huge opportunity lost if you're not doing it today in your business. If any of you came to the last indoor conference in Tampa, at our booth, you were probably getting several text messages from us while we were currently working our booth just to say, come on by. That was all obviously going around, automation in the background there. But as far as text, emails, just all that follow-up to that you're not manually having to do, really, so nothing slips through the cracks. That's basically where we come in. That lead follow-up, that lead nurture. Maybe you just ask yourself, like, how fast is your company doing that today to be nurturing those leads in that short amount of time? So that's really all I'm going to talk about. I assume you're all familiar with Social Cookie. Is that right, James? All the participants know a little bit about Social Cookie?
If any of them attended our conference last year, they should. You guys had a great booth set up, as you mentioned, and you guys were probably the most engaging of our exhibitors, meaning you didn't just stay behind the table at your booth. You actually moved around and engaged with people. So
right. Yeah, we really try. Like, this is really not, I usually have a lot more energy. Julie and I both. I'm sure we caught it from each other because we work together closely. We were the ones out there, with the cookies and talking to people. Yeah, so I mean, I would love to have any questions, but I'll just pass it off to Cam right now to talk about it a little bit more in detail about, what we can do. And then, we definitely want to get some questions and some conversation going here.
Yeah, actually, Susan, before we go into that, I know we're both under the weather here, and I just wanted to touch back on what the Harvard Business Review was basically saying. I know this is a little bit small for you all, but basically most businesses don't follow up enough. That's what they're saying. And it's very interesting because we do have some data points here of, when they researched, 2,300 businesses, they found that 23% of businesses never responded to leads at all. And if we think about that for a second, if we think about, well, if, I'm a business owner and I also own a kids soccer program, if my staff wasn't following up with the leads that I was generating for them, like, that's shocking, right? But that is actually more normal than not, that some businesses don't ever follow up at all. And then another 24% took more than 24 hours to follow up with them, right? And so if we think about old school sales, right? If we think about what happens when, a lead comes in, old school sales, they're all over it. We're persistent. You're following up. Think of even back to car salesman. You walk out a car lot, all of a sudden 5 people are coming to talk to you. That's what we need to do. Everybody is on their phones. They're distracted. It's, we're all over the place, and speed is everything when it comes to converting those leads. And sometimes, as businesses, we say, well, hey, they'll come, people will come in, but that's not the case. We have to follow up with them so much more. If we talk about, again, back in the 80s, you follow up with somebody 1 to 2 times, and now the amount of customer touch points, it's at least 12. And it's insane to, when we're looking at this Harvard study, it's insane that the average response time was 42 hours. So I'll leave you with that. But again, the bottom line is if we're missing out on these, this is a huge opportunity that we're missing out on if we're not following up with these leads. And sometimes we don't have the manpower to do it. And that's why automation and AI and all that stuff is really, really, really crucial for us to do that. So, again, sorry for Susan and I and our voices. It's going around, and I keep saying they just don't make them like this anymore. The flu is real. So anyway, I'll give it to Cam on the presentation that we have for you. So thank you so much for being patient with us.
For sure. Yep. My name is Cameron. I'm the lead ad strategist at 𝗤𝘂𝗺𝗃𝗄𝗃. Just to kind of reiterate a little bit what Julie was saying. So like the follow-up is critical for business success. 80% of sales, that happens the first day, after the first 5 days, after the first 5 follow-ups. But most businesses stop after, 1 or 2 follow-ups, if that. The majority of leads don't buy immediately. They need nurturing, reminders, ultimately trust builders. Following keeps your business top of mind, and keeping your business top of mind ultimately leads to maximize conversions. So we can start this presentation, Julie.
Yep.
Does anyone have any questions thus far? I know we say some maybe some vernacular that is unfamiliar with some people. So if you have any questions, just raise your hand, turn your camera on, anything like that, and we can talk about it. Sweet. Let's get into it. It's zoomed. It's like zoomed in, Julie.
Oh, James, is that a function you can? I mean, I'm just sharing normal.
We're good now.
Okay.
Yeah, this is me.
Okay, great.
Sweet. Yeah, so the evolution of lead conversions. So traditional methods today, with normal just mom and pop businesses and a lot of sports facilities specifically, are really failing in the modern business light. Things are changing, and they have changed. And nowadays, people's attention spans are 3 seconds, 5 seconds or less, right? So we really need to stay top of mind at all times, and that's really how you're going to maximize conversions. So I mean, it takes 8 to 12 touch points to really convert a lead. And then back in the 1890s, you only need 1 or 2. So things are changing. People's inboxes are being bombarded by tons of other businesses. So if you're the one, car wash, sports facility, whatever business you run, that's really staying top of mind with maximizing your amount of touch points to your audience. You're really going to maximize your conversions. 70%, 75% of leads, never follow up after the first day, which is crazy to me. We have a lot of clients that, we get their leads in the door, and we get their information, and they'll just, send a slight email, just a singular email out to these leads. And it's absurd to me because they're paying for these leads that we're accumulating for them, and they're only gonna, give them one touch point. It's absurd. So, we need 8 to 12 touch points minimum with these leads that you're accumulating. 80% of sales happen between the 5th and 12th contact. We're not in the 1980s anymore. 1 to 2 touch points is just not sufficient. And then only 2% of sales occur at the first meeting. So I mean, there's in today's day and age, there's tons of different businesses that offer the same thing as you. So to really, set yourself apart, you need to build trust with these customers and with your audience. And the way that you do that is, by consistently staying top of mind. Brand awareness is a big one. Just spreading general awareness about what you offer, what sets you apart. And ultimately that builds trust with the consumer, and building trust with the consumer then leads, to a favorite state of mind with them, and it ultimately leads to conversions. So yeah, so the cost of poor lead management, like I just touched on earlier, we'll generate 500 leads in a month for a client, and they'll just send out a singular email. I mean, it's like you might as well not even be getting the lead if you're going to do that. You need to maximize touch points in today's day and age. 79% of market leads never convert due to lack of nurturing. And the businesses that ultimately then will lose 71% of those leads due to the delayed response times. Nurtured leads make 47% larger purchases than the non-nurtured leads. I mean, the customer lifetime value, once you get those people to register for your program or, buy your product, assuming that you have a good product itself, they're gonna be with you for a long time. Thus making larger purchases with you. So you need to nurture these leads, continue to build trust and spread brand awareness as to why your business is set apart. And then companies that excel at lead nurturing, they generate 50% more sales ready leads at a 30% lower cost, 33% lower cost. So I see it firsthand all the time. Businesses will hire a customer relations management guy or girl for their company, and they really, the ones that do that and really have a person dedicated to nurturing these leads, that's their goal, whether it's hot leads that are coming into the door or just organic responses on social media. Those companies really thrive, and they really maximize their return on ad spend, with nurturing these leads, because there's no point in bringing the leads in if you're not gonna have at least 5, 7, 8 customer touch points with these leads. So you need someone that's really dedicated to nurturing these guys and to getting them in your doors. And the way to get them in your doors is by maximizing customer touch points and building trust with the consumer. So digital transformation in sports facilities. Market research shows that 88% of consumers research online before visiting a facility. 72% expect personalized communication. 68% will leave for a competitor if they feel ignored. So, it's imperative. Response time within 5 minutes increases conversion by almost 400%. 400%. I mean, I see it myself. I nurture leads for sports facilities specific for some of our clients. And if, the faster that I respond, the faster that they respond, we're top of mind, the faster that I can get them in the door into these sports facilities. And then, they ultimately, their customer lifetime value is shot through the roof, as soon as we can get them into the facility. Oh yeah, here you go. So one of our social cookie clients success stories, we're not gonna say who they are, but we really transformed their return on their ad spend and just maximize their efficiency with their lead with modern lead nurturing, right? So these are real results. This is in the past, and this is in the new year. So we've gotten them, and this was just a month of us nurturing their leads. This was just a month. It was actually less than a month. It was about 2.5 weeks of us taking over and nurturing their leads for them and showing them, what that difference is. When you really have someone that's dedicated to nurturing these leads, like I said, responding within 5 minutes, maximizing these customer touch points, we gain them, an additional $10,000 in revenue per session. So per session they had a 2-month session, right? So an additional $10,000 in additional revenue. 70% growth in student base in just 90 days. So that was us, running their ads and getting the leads for them. 382 active leads in the nurture pipeline. So a lot of times this takes a lot of effort and a lot of manpower to nurture these leads. 8 to 12 touch points for a specific contact is a lot to space out for an individual person, because you want to get 8 to 12 touch points, but at the same time, you don't want to bombard these customers. You don't want to send them, 2-3 texts within a day. You want to space it out. So, that takes a lot of management. And the big thing here is automating this. That's the ultimate goal, being able to automate this a system that can take your leads, nurture them on an automated system with, that it can make, if else statements, logical decisions, personalized. We talked about personalized communication. It can personalize the communication for you. Sophisticated tagging systems to pull one contact into an automation, pull it out of the other automation, so that you are assured that they're getting the right messaging. So the ultimate goal is to automate this system. Because 382 active leads in a nurture pipeline, that's a lot of leads to nurture and to keep track of. because like I said, you don't want to bombard these consumers. That's not what you want to do. That's a turnoff right away. So, but you still want to, get to that mark of 8 to 12 customer touch points, within the first 2 weeks, within the first 2 or 3 weeks. We got to this sports facility, 45 new trials scheduled, and that was in
and that was in 1 week. That was in 1
yeah,
week.
yep.
Yeah,
And then
sorry, I went to inject there.
13
Go ahead.
times higher conversion rate than industry standard average. So that this is just a sample, a case study, with 2 weeks of us Social Cookie nurturing these people leads for them, showing them that the proof is really in the pudding, and if you really have someone dedicated to responding and nurturing these leads, it ultimately does, building customer trust, and with maximized touch points and spreading brand awareness, it really does increase your conversions. And you can see that here with with the numbers, $10,000 in additional revenue every 2 months. That's not nothing.
Cameron, can I jump in real quick? We had a question kind of came directly to me anonymously.
Oh, yep.
You kind of answered it, but I just want to, throw it out there. It reads, is there a threshold in the number of touch points we should do before it rubs the prospect the wrong way?
Is there a threshold in the number of touch points that we want until it rubs the customer the wrong way?
Mm-hmm. I think what they mean is, if you bombard, term you use, is there a number there? Is there a sweet spot we should do? You mentioned like what, 8 to 12?
Yeah.
But is there like a maximum? We should not overstep this number, or it'll just turn the customer or potential client off.
Yeah. So I mean, I think it has less so to do with the maximum number of customer touch points, but it has more so to do with the frequency in which you're communicating and sending out these automated messages to the customer. So the frequency, and I wouldn't say sending more than obviously you want speed to lead. So as soon as they come in, you want to send them something right away. But then wait 2 days, send them something again, right? Then wait another 2 days, send them a text and an email. So you don't want to bombard them in the frequency, in a high frequency. You want to keep that frequency spaced across a long period of time. So we Julie owns a kids soccer company, and we have all this stuff is automated for us. We have lots of different automations that they go through. But eventually the very last automation that a customer will go through in the customer journey is our general nurture automation, right? So our general nurture automation is kind of like, it's just staying top of mind, and it's throwing them a text and an email once a week, right? But that once a week is spanned, for about 3 months until they finally make it to the bottom of the pipeline, and then they're sent out of the automation. So you want to, when they initially come in the door, right, you want your frequency to be high with the customer touch points. So you want to contact them right as soon as they come in. So after a day, then after 2 days, and then the frequency slowly starts to drop, as the time passes from the first day that you got their lead, or that they came in house, or whatever it is. But the frequency slowly starts to drop in how many the time between your customer touch points, until they eventually, hopefully, will get into a general nurture automation, when that's when the frequency is the lowest, and they'll get a text or an email every once a week. But I wouldn't really put a specific number on maximum number of customer touch points. I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, in fact, I just got a thumbs up from this person, so very good. And I don't know if you saw in the chat, Cam, we have another question from Brad, who I think is digging for more information. He said, can you disclose what this program was for? I guess trying to find.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, so this was a sports facility. They ran, this was specifically for their child soccer program. So this is strictly their child soccer program, not their adult soccer program yet. We actually just took over, we did this as a case study for them, and we actually just signed a contract with them to take over, their whole facility, doing the exact same thing that we just did in this 2-week span. But now I think we just signed a 9-month contract with this sports facility. So these numbers that you're looking at right here, those are just for the kids soccer program. But check in with us a couple months from now, and you'll definitely.
I also really wanted to say also, the touch points too, as you alluded to, it's not exactly maybe a certain number, but it's that, that cadence of what type of business you have. I mean, we're talking to mostly sports facilities right now, I believe on this webinar, but we do have some that are like distributors. I mean, their sales cycle is a lot longer. So, I mean, if we're talking like a child soccer program, that's going to be different than say, somebody that's distributing for something different, like their sales cycle is maybe 4 years versus, the sales cycle for this is a lot, less. So you just have to take that into consideration as well.
Yeah, I mean, just with your responses, the messaging itself, the follow-up should feel, helpful, not annoying, not, pushy or aggressive. They should be helpful. But most people, a potential customer needs to see or hear about your offer / business multiple times before making a decision on what they really want to do. So, and the more touch points that you have, I'm gonna keep touching on this. The more touch points you have, ultimately the more trust and brand familiarity you gain over time, and that really, results in maximized conversions.
Yeah. And for
Yeah, and I'll
example,
go here too. Oh, go ahead, Susan. Go ahead.
well, I was just going to say, my kids played soccer, when they were younger, they both were in soccer program like this. And, today's like, we need those reminders, everybody's going, like Cam said, everyone's going in different directions. And I mean, we have dentist appointments and we have this and we have that. And so if I'm getting a text on my phone, we want to make it as easy as possible, top of mind, easy. If I go, oh, what was that one soccer place? And I just Google and you don't come to the top. I mean, I'm going to the competitor. So that's what we need to do, is just keep it top of mind, the reminders, and making it as easy as possible for really busy moms and dads out there.
It's almost like it's sort of like you almost want to subliminally message them, like seed your business name in their subconscious, so that when they do look up, for example, kids soccer program, they may not be able to look up your business by name, but they're going to recognize unconsciously, they're just going to be drawn to the one that they've seen the most, the business name that they've seen the most. So the more customer touch points you can have, the more times they're going to see your business name. Thus, when they Google, they're finally ready to make a decision. They Google, whatever industry you're in, your business will kind of ring a bell in their brain subconsciously, and that's 9 times out of 10 brand familiarity. That's who they're going to go with.
Yeah, and I was just going to say, touching on this case study here, or success story, keep in mind, we build these digital ecosystems with these automations that Cameron's talking about, and this is all manual. This was before they kind of brought us on as a fractional CMO, right? And so we're handling everything digital for them. So this was all before that, and so my point with that is, this is all manual, with our team nurturing their leads manually. Now that we're building the digital ecosystem for them with all the different automations and the reminder, the reminder automations, and the drip sequences for when it comes to, I couldn't make it, so now we have to reschedule, all these different things, like that is going to triple these numbers easy. I mean, wouldn't you say, Cam? I mean, we've seen it. We have several, sure. Right?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, like I said, the ultimate goal with lead nurturing is you want some sort of an automated system, because keeping track of Susan came into our database 2 weeks ago, and just keeping track of that cadence of because you don't want to bombard your customer. So keeping track of that cadence to make sure your messages and emails are spaced out over time, that's hard for someone to do if you don't have an automated system doing that. So the ultimate goal is to have an automated system that can do all this stuff. And the cadence as to which the cadence / frequency of the messaging to the customer is going to be based on what automation they're in, because people are at different journeys, are at different stages through their customer journey. And if they're a hot lead, they just came in the door, you want to get them into lead to book automation, right? So the lead to book automation, so that cadence, that frequency of messaging is going to be it's not going to be spaced apart. You're going to be sending out messages at least once a day, and then maybe that after 2 days, and then after 2 days, and then after 2 days. But that's very different. So the lead to book automation is very different from the general nurture automation, because the general nurture automation is the last step in the customer journey. That's going to be messaging once a week. So you really need to have a system that's going to tag customers, put tags next to their names on their accounts accordingly as to where they are at in the customer journey. You don't want a current customer getting lead to book messaging. You don't want a previous customer getting your free trial no-show automation messaging. So you need a system that's really gonna tag these people accordingly and be able to logically pull them in and out of different automations, send them down different pipelines within the automation, with an if-else statement. And that's the ultimate goal. I think that we're getting at is you need to automate this. You need to have a system to automate this, because if you really if you really want to maximize your leads, that means you need 8 to 12 customer touch points minimum.
And it doesn't matter if it's a kids program. This is a kids program. I own a kids program. I do this for myself. We have 2,500 kids enrolled in our program, and it's like, it doesn't matter if you're running leagues and you want to fill some house teams, those types of things. I mean, the touch points don't change, right? Like the messaging changes, but the touch points don't change. And that is how, again, like Cam said, that is how you grow your business, is through getting those leads, or even taking the leads you have in your database that you're probably not really nurturing in the right ways, and starting to, again, there's revenue left on the table. 100%, we always say this, 100% of your contacts should be on a drip 100% of the time. And that's kind of what we preach. That's our mantra.
Yeah, so just some modern lead nurturing requirements, based on some of our data-driven insights with our own customers. 50% of leads are qualified, but they're not ready to buy immediately, right? So, wow, it would be great if I could go in, Susan, messaged me back. We'll just use a kid soccer program, for example. Jimmy just turned 1. I don't think he's ready. Message me back in 2 months, in 3 months. That would be great if I could go and tag that contact. Follow up, throw a follow up tag on that contact, and we can throw them into an automation that's gonna put them in the automation in 2 months. I can put it in the notes, follow up with this person in 2 months, and then we can put them into a follow up automation. That would be big time. So yeah, that having an automation system to do that is imperative. Because not all leads are ready to buy right away. Like this said, 50% of leads are qualified, but they're just not ready to buy immediately. So you need to have a system that's going to be able to put them into an automation that when they're ready to buy, and you can put that in the notes, and the system is sophisticated enough to throw them into the automation for them to start receiving messaging accordingly based on their response and when they're ready to buy. Email campaigns with automations, see 53% higher conversion rates. Multi-channel approaches to increase engagement, by almost 300%, and then the personalized follow-ups increase conversions by 200%. So personalized follow-ups are big. You can just throw their name in there. The system that we use, we'll just take their name, throw it in the beginning. It's all automated. And then a big one with these is asking an open-ended question. Engage with the audience rather than just checking in. So like a big one that we do is we say for soccer buddies, the kids soccer program, we say weekends or weekdays work best, right? And then they respond to you. So asking open-ended questions to engage your audience is important. And then also at the end of the day, respect their time. Make follow-ups short and to the point. You don't want some lengthy thing, because at the end of the day, they're not going to read it. They're just going to see a text, glance at it real quick, and either respond or put it back in their pocket if it's too lengthy.
Yeah, I was going to say, and we want to, with our messaging, it's not just about getting that email out there. It's not just a to-do list. We want to warm them up, with our messaging, educating them, entertaining them, and when it comes to a multi-channel, we're saying, hey, don't just email. I mean, again, we can't expect our 1980s approach to business to work now. I mean, goodness, things are coming out. It used to be 3 to 4 years, where new digital type, new things would come out. But now it's like in 3 or 4 weeks, there's new rollout constantly. And so we want to make sure that we're, that we are staying above that, so that our competitors don't outpitch us, right? So text message, you got to be texting them. When we say multi-channel, text, email, and phone. We use voice drops. Voice drops are, it's a new thing. It's a new digital thing. We can get into that if anyone has a question on that. But again, all 3 ways, because again, you want to be able to what is their preferred method? Sometimes it's text. People like text a lot. Some people want to talk on the phone and talk to a human. Some people want to just read an email silently, when they're going to bed, and they want to cruise through the email. But email deliverability rate is also changing, in this day and age. So really, like Cam said, the personalized follow-up and all of that, making sure that that person who filled out your form on Meta, they really feel that warmth, that customer service coming through, and just, being able, and we can book somebody within 5 minutes of them filling it out, because again, the automations take care of that for us. And then we also have our human interactions that are happening in the background, and it just doubles down, and it works. I mean, it's brilliant. And it's the time we're in now. This is a digital world. And I think that with competitors, that's the way you stay above them.
Yeah, so the automated system, it pre-vets the leads for you, so you get qualified leads before it gets to that actually talking to a human being stage, because you don't want to waste your manpower on talking to a lead that ultimately isn't qualified. So I mean, just to recap that slide, some common mistakes in follow-ups, in touch points. The biggest one, giving up too soon. Most salespeople stop after 1 or 2 attempts. That's just not sufficient enough in today's day and age. Being too pushy or aggressive. Follow-ups should be helpful. The big one that we talked about, lack of personalization. Generic follow-ups, they get ignored. So tailor your messages to your audience. Using their name is a big one. And then I think the largest one, with this, if you don't take away anything from what we're saying, take away this, not having a system in place for these follow-ups. It's not going to work. Sporadic follow-ups lead to missed opportunities. A follow-up at all is good, but sporadically, you need to base your follow-ups based on when that lead walked in the door or when that lead came into your system. You can't, messaging Susan 3 months after she filled out my instant form on Facebook. That's just not really. She's gonna be like, who the heck is this? So speed to lead. You got to follow it fast, and then you got to maintain those customer touch points without coming off as without bombarding your customers. So I talked a lot about our system that we use specifically here. Our system, based on our customers, our actual customers with Social Cookie, we put them into our automated system, and they've seen on average 391 higher conversions through the rapid responses. So that's big time. I mean, that's a huge number that you can really capitalize on just with this automated system. And you gotta pay the system, obviously, but I can assure you paying for this system is going to be a lot less than hiring someone on full time to try and do this, and it's going to do a lot better job. We've seen it.
Yeah, it's an investment in your business.
Yep. 200% increase in engagement just through the personalization, right? So like if you're sending out your text messages, your emails, and the big one's text messages. We want responses with text messages. We want engagement with text messages, which is why personalization, keeping it short and sweet, but asking an open-ended question is big time. Because if the customer is engaging back with you, you respond fast with them. That's just building rapport with that customer. And I can assure you, you're texting them back and forth. You're gonna seem like their buddy, this and that. They're gonna subliminally favor your business over others. 280% higher conversions with the multi-channel approach. 13 times industry average conversion rates. I mean, that's the big one. At the end of the day, nothing matters but conversions. So with this system, you can this is on average. We've seen a 13 times the industry average conversion rate when you utilize this system, and it ultimately has a proven return on investment. And this is across multiple industries, not just one industry. We have tons of different clients that come from tons of different walks of life that are in many different industries. And we've seen this work with we have a guy he runs, it's almost like Uber, and we put him in this system, and he's getting bookings. I forgot exactly what the number was, but he's seeing a exponential increase in his bookings for his rideshare business. Obviously, we've seen this work really, really well with every single one of our sports facilities that uses this. It's a game changer. Yeah, so just to conclude, consistency wins. Businesses that master the follow-up and master the cadence in the customer touch points. We talked about 8 to 12 customer touch points minimum. The businesses that really master that, they close more deals. We're not about fluff here. We only go on numbers and analytics, and that's just what it is. The people, the easy way to master this is by using an automated system. It's about relationship building, not just making sales. And the way that you build relationships is, by asking those open-ended questions in your text messages and getting back to them fast. The faster you can get a response back to a customer that's talking to you, the more you're, like I said, you're going to seem like their buddy. They're going to, see your brand name a lot. It's going to subliminally, influence them subconsciously. They're just going to like your brand more. And, the customer at the end of the day is going to go with the company that, has
Loved it the most.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's the core.
Yep.
And then following up properly, separates struggling businesses from the thriving ones. You got it. You have to follow up. If it's absurd to me, people, we're a digital marketing agency, so we run social media ads for people, for businesses, and I'll generate them, like I said, 300, 400 leads in a month, and they're only they only send a single email out to these leads, and it's absurd because you're paying normally $8 or $9 per lead with this, and you're just going to send them one email. It's absurd. You have to maximize your customer touch points, or you're just wasting your money. Yeah, so the industry transformation is happening. It has happened. We need to get on the train. 83% of facilities are increasing their digital marketing budgets. You should allocate anywhere from 5 to 12% of your revenue to a marketing budget. That's the only way that you're gonna really grow your business in today's day and age. Grassroots marketing, it's just not the thing anymore. People are on their phones. I mean, I'm 25 years old, so I'm in that space. People, everyone's on their phones all the time. My dad goes on Instagram. My dad's almost 15. He's on Instagram all the time. So people are on their phones, and they stay on their phones. They're not going out of the house as much. So digital marketing is huge, and we need to increase our budgets for digital marketing. Early adopters see 5 times higher growth rates. So with the putting the ads aside, the social media marketing ads aside, just the automated system for nurturing your leads, you're really going to see the return on spend right away. It's going to happen right away. Market leaders report 47% higher customer lifetime value. So brand loyalty in today's day and age is growing. People want to stay with the brand that they know the best, and that they trust the most. And the way that you really get these leads to trust you is by talking to them, literally just talking to them. And you can have a whole automated system that'll do that for you. So you need to build rapport with the customer, and then you'll ultimately see that customer lifetime value. And then digital first competitors, they capture 71% more of the market share. So the leaders in digital marketing in your industry, I'm not sure who that is, but I can promise you, if they're doing their due diligence, and they're putting forth the budget to really capture and take advantage of this digital era that we live in, they're going to capture more of your market share, probably than you think. So I hope that that's you. I hope that you're the one that's the one that's taking advantage of the digital market that we live in today. And if it's not, we can really help you out with that. We have systems in place, automated systems in place, that can really maximize these customer touch points and build rapport with your customers, and that ultimately is going to lead to higher conversions, which is going to lead to higher customer lifetime value. It's just a win-win. So don't let your competition take the lead. The day and age is changing, and it has changed, and the ones that jump on the train the sooner and go all in with this are the ones that are going to see and see the more return on marketing spend, and they're going to capture more of the market share. Does anyone have any questions, comments? You can just chat them over to myself or James. Let's do a
Yeah, we have about 10 minutes left in the webinar. Plenty of time for questions. Don't be shy. I know we only have a handful in attendance. Let me break the ice with a sort of a look under the hood question. Hopefully this is not too technical. and this goes to everyone on the social cookie side. You talked about customizing the messaging that goes out to the leads as you nurture them. You mentioned segmenting leads. So how do you segment leads without going too deeply into it to ensure target nurturing? And a two-part question: what strategies, if any, do you recommend for re-engaging cold leads within those segments?
Yeah, I'll answer that, James. So segmentation is, it's a powerful thing. So we segment our leads based on user behavior. So whatever someone does, for example, where they come from, if they come from the website, if they come from Facebook or Instagram leads, from Google ads, sorry, not leads, ads. You know, we segment those based on their behaviors, what they're doing, their interactions, have they opened our email, today, yesterday, what is their engagement score, a lot of different things like that. And then James, sorry, with the brain fog I've got, the second part was?
Is there a different strategy when you engage with cold leads or re-engage with these cold leads?
Yes. So what we do with our cold leads is we have the capability of the technology to be able to retarget and serve them up ads. So what we do is if someone, if cold leads if they haven't engaged in a while, then we will retarget those people. But if you're talking really cold leads, as in they have never heard about us, that's where we use our paid strategies. So in this day and age, the algorithm has changed since yesterday. Basically, it changes all the time. And right now it's very interest-based. It has an interest-based graph. So if you are on your phone, think of it's very TikTokified, right? So Meta's doing it, it's all over. So
Reels.
when you're,
Reels.
yeah, go ahead, Cam, go ahead.
No, I was just saying you're talking about reels.
Yeah, and just the algo, is targeting what you're interested in. It's not about all these, how many followers do you have anymore? It's not about that. It's about quality over quantity. And so it's very interest based. So if you're scrolling, our ads will come in if you're you like sports, you like you've been interacting with different things, like indoor soccer, just say, then you're gonna see our ad. Or if you're a parent, you're interacting with certain things. So the algorithm is just getting smarter and smarter. And so that's why when it comes to cold leads, what we do is we generate our leads, and then we also qualify those leads through a series of conditional logic and qualifying questions. So hopefully that's what you're kind of asking.
Yep, very good. Yeah. And
and then just one more thing. Our system, it tags people with an engagement score. So based on the click-through rate, how many, if they actually clicked on the email or opened the text, it'll give them an engagement score. So you can see the leads and filter the leads based on a low engagement score, and then you can send them specific messaging, and then like Julie said, you can upload that list of low engagement score customers, and you can go literally you can go target them on social media, those specific people. It's kind of crazy, but yeah.
Very good. Any other questions from our audience? And I'll do a quick roll call from Brad, Michael, Mike, or Olivia, who are still with us. Any questions from you guys?
This is Brad. No, I just reached out to you again, Julie. We had talked earlier last year, and we were interested, and I kind of wanted to follow up again. So I just sent you a message. If we can have a discussion maybe in the next couple of weeks here.
Sure, absolutely. I can just shoot you, or Susan can shoot you an email, and then we can kind of
figure out a good time.
Yeah, I just sent you an email back that we had responded to.
Oh, perfect. Easy.
Back in October, I believe it was. So.
Yep, for sure. And we also have our QR code too, if anybody else wants to just have a light brainstorming session. We're happy to look at, talk and meet. Obviously, not when poor Susan. I feel that we're both just under the weather. So
I'm really trying not to talk too much.
No, it's good. It's good. So I have a question for you all. What are you all doing now, and is it working?
Short answer is no. We're pretty basic in what we do, and we need to we know it's a need that we have to really get our social media marketing going a lot better than what we're doing now. We think we have good programming. We think we have the right systems in place. We just got to get people involved.
Sure. Well, we love hearing that. Good product is awesome. All you have to do is open the doors.
You're right. That's what we feel, and we hear it from people. Yes. When they do engage with us, we're having a hard time for people understanding exactly what we do and what we can or can't do.
Right.
Offer, so.
For sure.
Yeah, I mean, Michael, like kind of what I touched on, doing it manual, it's a lot of work. It's a lot of keeping track of things in the books. So I'm glad that you're at least, attempting to follow up with your customers. That's big time. But to take the manpower out of it, just an automated system is really the way to go. And you don't have to pay someone to do that. You don't have to do it yourself. You can just do it completely automated, so it doesn't require more manpower. And I can assure you it costs less than a full-time position to someone. So
that's what I was just going to say, Cam, is, I mean, you guys obviously running businesses. I mean, you have a million things on your plate. And I mean, to have the bandwidth to also do all this social media work, it's a lot. And you have to be there. I mean, you're not looking at your phones, your computer, responding to customers maybe all the time. Or maybe you don't want to hire somebody, for $50,000, $100,000 a year to be sitting there, and it is inconsistent. Maybe we hear from 10 customers today, 100 tomorrow, 0 the next day. So to put the, allocate those resources in a good way. I mean, that's what we're here for. And then you can focus on, the business side of things and really bringing once those customers are coming in, that's where you come into play. Being there for those customers and showing them the best, product service that you have. So we would love to help you bring in those people, and then, you sell your product and your service. Because like you said, Brad, I mean, you have a great facility, great, product service, and we would just love to help you get those people in the door, and then you take it from there.
And I think, not to date myself, but I will. Back in the day when I worked at the facility, it's like we had those cute little, my boss had a little notepad thing with the white little slips, and you tear it off and it had like a yellow backing or pink back, some of the young people probably have no idea what I'm talking about, but it's just like you tear that off, and it was a voicemail that somebody had left, and then she wrote it down, and I had to call those people back, right? I remember this. I called them once and I threw that piece of paper in the trash. That is how we ran businesses back in the day, and it worked, and word of mouth worked, and traditional marketing worked. But we're in a new age, and we have to, if we want to continue to survive as businesses, we have to continue to evolve as businesses. And it's painful. It's hard because change is hard, right? But it's like we can't expect the same things that we did back then to be working now. And I had to learn that the hard way with my kids' soccer business. I'm like, why aren't I growing? Why aren't I growing? And so that's that whole thing, right? And it's like it's really interesting though. That's back in the day, we called them one time and that was it.
Very good. Well, everyone, as you can see on your clocks, we're reaching the twilight of this webinar. On behalf of US Indoor, I want to thank Julie, Cams, and everyone from the and Susan also from the Social Cookie team for joining us and for answering these questions. I want to say firsthand, as an unpaid endorsement, we've also adopted Social Cookie principles at US Indoor. Boy, has it helped us in every aspect of automation, reaching out, getting people to conversion rates on our side. And I can't speak enough about it. So if you're not using Social Cookie, or at least considering what we've talked about today, you should. So again, thank you everyone for attending. We look forward to seeing everyone at the conference, including the Social Cookie team. And until the next one, take care. Goodbye, everyone.
Thanks, James.
Thank you, James. Thank you, everybody.